All right, before we get to today's episode, we got a quick announcement for you. Some updates to the pod. We're going to be taking a 1-week break. Don't worry, we're coming back. We're going to miss you too. But we got some new things coming. First off, we got a new channel. If you're a YouTube watcher, TMIW Show on YouTube. Make sure you're there to check it out. Like, comment, subscribe, and you'll be locked in for the future. Date and time, not changing. Thursdays, 3 p.m. So you're welcome, I guess. That's going to be nice and convenient. Make sure you're following us on social media as well. Of course, again, TMIW Show on YouTube, and then TMIW.show on both Instagram and TikTok. And by the way, the best comments on any of those platforms could get you on the show. Who doesn't want to talk to Rick? Because I know you don't want to talk to me. Thanks for tuning in. What up, and welcome to Tell Me I'm Wrong. I am Marsh. I am joined by Rick Blaze and Yells. Rick, give the folks, if they're new here, give them a quick intro. Who are you? What are you about?
Yo, I'm Rick Blaze, one half of the dynamic duo Blaze and Black. 1/3 of Tell Me I'm Wrong. I'm the 1 in 1/3, of course, because I'm never wrong. And then lastly, ladies, please be aware of the lanes. Stay away. Far away.
Okay. And then we got Mr. Stoner Shades himself. Sir, it's never too late or early to wear sunglasses. We got Yells. What's up, Yells? Tell them who you're about.
Honestly, I'm the master of mayhem, and I'm the demigod of duality, sir. Where Rick Blaze says he's the 1 in the 1/3 of Tell Me I'm Wrong. Go check out Truth Teller Yells. It's in my name. I tell the truth. That's it.
Usually when people have to tell you that they're telling the truth, it means they're telling a lie. Red flag.
You watch that.
To wrap up the intros, I'm pretty sure I'm the only humble one here because I'm not going to do either of what you two just did. So I'm the normal, keep things balanced guy, which I think is dangerous considering all things. All right, well we've got a pod. Rick, tell us what we're talking about today that you feel adamantly about.
Hey, listen, I have to say it. It is what it is, and it's about time someone just go ahead and say it out in the open. LeBron James is the greatest athlete ever. Tell me I'm wrong and hear me out. First of all, let's start in his sport of basketball. He's one of the few players who's been since 15, 16 had this level of hype and this level of pressure on him to be a professional player. Comes into the professional player as a professional player out of high school, not only achieves that level of expectation, but I would say he exceeds that level of expectation. But Brother Blaze, how do you know he exceeds? Well, for one, he's a forward who's known for passing the basketball coming into the league, but all of a sudden he's the greatest scorer in NBA history, exceeding expectations. For someone who can't shoot, number 1 scorer in all of NBA history, exceeding expectations. Oh, but that's because he played 28 seasons. Well, that's because your favorite player can't play 28 seasons and be that good every single night, exceeding expectations. So we win rings. Any team he goes to, they become a number 1 contender for a championship by themselves. He's won, I think, more rings at more teams than any other player in NBA history. Let's get off the NBA for a second. Let's talk about what we in. The year of the time frame of internet trolling and all the things. His name is never in the news for bad stuff. For someone who's been since high school, been a millionaire since 17, 18, he keeps his nose clean, has a good team, has his own people around him. He's showing you he's a $1 billion athlete. He's showing you how to get it done on and off the court. And you can't say any other athlete that's as good as he is has shown you how to get it done on and off the court quite like LeBron, the great James. Tell me I'm wrong.
So are you claiming he's the best basketball player?
Athlete ever.
Athlete. So what
ever.
What does him being scot-free of drama off the court have to do with him being an athlete?
Because I believe in you take any of these other athletes in his era in which he played, Michael Jordan didn't keep his nose clean from the media, and there was no social media. So imagine, I'm talking to how difficult it is, how much a challenge it is for someone of his stature to still have a clean name for this many years with so much going on and everyone having an opinion and everyone got a camera out showing every single thing. I don't think there's another athlete of his magnitude that could still have a clean brand such as his if they play ball during his era.
Are we talking specifically about him just as a physical athlete, or are you talking legacy, like the impact that he's had?
Yeah, the impact that he's had, the legacy that he's had, on and off the court, his ability to show how nepotism is done internally. All his people from back in the day works with him. They've all branched out, become millionaires. So he's showing you the business etiquette of it. Again, show me another athlete at his level who's done what he's done, and you'll be hard pressed to find it.
Gels, I want you to go first because I've got a couple thoughts here on that, but I want to hear from you first.
Whatever. I'll say that after listening to Rick, look, on the second episode, we're going to go this route. Let me get all my disclaimers out the way first. I used to hate LeBron, if that's a tell of where I am now. I used to absolutely despise him. I can't do anything other than respect the man's game. Like Rick said, he's been hooping in the NBA at an exceptionally high level for like 100 years, which is why he holds the scoring records. You're right, Rick. It's not because he's the greatest scorer. But I think I take a different take on it, is where I kind of stand with, it may even pose a different question, because I don't think he's the greatest basketball player ever. I do not at all. And I have him further down my list. We can get into that another time, but I have him further down my list than people would expect. But when I listen to what Rick had to say, and I really kind of take the totality of things, when we talk about greatest ever, talking legacy, I think he is. He is the greatest athlete of all time, just because everything in sports, he is the benchmark of what you're supposed to be in sports. The PR is done right. The contracts are handled right. The money's handled right. Everything moves how he wants it to move. He is sports in a lot of regards, like not just the NBA, but they could change the logo. I don't know what it's going to be because he don't have any moves, but it's not going to be like I don't know, a pass, or maybe it's a go sitting on the bench because he's tired of having to drag AD. I'm not sure. But what I will say is the complete package of what you want. Like, matter of fact, I posed the question right there, right? I'll pose the second question before you go into your whole spiel, Marsh. Can you be the greatest? Can you be the greatest athlete without being the greatest player, right? And then you're gonna give your thoughts on LeBron being LeGreatest. But here's the other question. If he's not the greatest, if you set out to be a professional athlete right now and you were actually good at sports, Marsh, like let's say like you were good at like football or something, right? Even like flag football or something,
Flag football, yeah, flag.
But when you said you wanted someone's career, the finality of what their career is, who is it if not LeBron? All the things that you would want to accomplish. So I was on TikTok today, so I'm gonna use their phrase. I'm gonna land my plane here. I never heard that in my life until today. I'm gonna land my plane here.
I used it last night.
Okay, different meaning there. So you landed the plane. I'm waiting for this plane to land. I
landed it.
Yet?
There's no if he's not the greatest, Marsh, then who else's career are you taking over his?
Okay, he is the template. Marsh, go ahead.
Maybe we're going to define it differently, and that's okay. But I actually don't think that LeBron has been the most impactful basketball player, let alone most impactful athlete. And if we're going to talk, we're not talking athlete as like your athletic skills, because I do think LeBron is probably the greatest physical athlete. But I think there's 3 basketball players that have actually been more impactful to legacy than LeBron James has.
Oh, here we go. You know what he's going to say.
Well, you both know one of them, but anyhow, when I'm talking legacy impacts, I'm talking how did you impact pop culture? How did you impact society? Okay, and I'm gonna just get the first one out the way because you know it's gonna come anyway. And as a Warriors fan, I'm gonna say Steph Curry's the one. This is not an order. I'm not putting 1 through 3 here, but you look at the game of basketball is geographically different because of Steph Curry, right? And you can't have a 6'0" 5'2" person playing the game of basketball the way LeBron James played the game of basketball, right? So Curry physically changed it. We saw ever since his rise to stardom in 2014, the game has shifted geographically to be a three-point shooting sport. Now, would the game have gone that way anyway? I think yes, because of the uptick in analytics. But a player of the magnitude and the efficiency of Steph Curry fast-tracked that. Number 2, again, not in order, but just second when I'm listed, Kobe. His impact on the game of basketball pop culture, right? You were sitting in, maybe you guys weren't, but most kids are sitting in their classrooms, balling up pieces of paper and chucking it at the trash can and yelling Kobe, right? They're not running up to it and dunking it and going LeBron. They're trying to chuck it from across the room. Some of them, and you're like, you're in the wrong class, my brother. You're shooting the ball and you're just you're yelling out Kobe. Not to mention, Kobe shoes are one of the most popular, most profitable basketball shoes in today's culture. And the last one was Michael Jordan. I mean, people wanted to be like Mike. There's literally a Gatorade campaign about him. People were trying to emulate him. And then, of course, his shoes have influenced pop culture. They're still the most profitable shoes, the early ones, the most valuable shoes on the market. LeBron James has done none of those things. Is he a great basketball player? Sure. Is he a great athlete? Sure. But people aren't wearing LeBrons. People aren't trying to be like LeBron playing the game. He's not relatable in any way, shape, or form. Steph Curry is most so, but the other two...
Wait, time out.
I can't pretend to be LeBron James. I can pretend for brief moments to be Steph Curry.
But you can pretend to think like him and his team does. I think that's what makes him the greatest athlete, because what he does, Steph Curry is the dream for every player under 6 feet. Anybody who's ever had a dream to do anything under 6 feet, Steph Curry is the dream, right? Physically. But if you have a template on how you want to be a professional athlete and or a businessman, you can use LeBron template for either one or both of those things, because he's showing you how to get it done. I'm sure when he comes to the NBA now, I guarantee day one when they sit you down as a rookie, have training, I bet they give you the template of how to be LeBron James. I guarantee it. At least how to handle your business. They probably bring somebody from LeBron's team to talk to the rookies on how to handle your business off the court so you don't go broke in 5 years. Because LeBron is the first $1 billion athlete.
But so you're saying
he got his son. Who else got their son drafted? Got his son drafted. The man is so powerful. The man is so powerful. He got his own son drafted and got him to his team.
I was gonna add that part. He not only had the cachet.
Gail Curry couldn't do that for Steph.
He not only had the cachet to add that part. He not only had the cachet.
No one else has that pull. No one else in history has that pull.
Not just to get the Lakers to draft him, but also to get other teams to not take him. That was crazy. That was insane.
Guaranteed contract. What 57 pick in the draft has ever got a guaranteed contract?
But I think you're misconstruing that LeBron James, I'm not denying his skill set as a basketball player. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm saying is that if I think of the game of basketball, you're talking, some guys come in as rookies and they say, well, you're going to talk to LeBron James. Guess who can't relate to a guy coming into the NBA as a rookie? Pretty much all of the NBA, all of society can't relate to a rookie in the NBA having to talk to LeBron James, right? The impact of an athlete is not necessarily on fellow athletes, but it's on the rest of society as a whole. And LeBron James just does not permeate into society. I mean, his role in society is him saying, Kobe's 81? Oh, yeah, I knew that. I knew that. I knew he was going to. I told my boys, I think he's going to go for like 70 points. He went, I didn't think 81. It's him calling stuff that he thinks is going to happen when it's most obvious that he has no clue and he's making stuff up. Like, that's lay GM, lay liar, lay whatever. That is the legacy in pop culture of LeBron James. It's him saying, yeah, I'm reading a book, and it's one page open, and like, can you tell us the most impactful thing about Malcolm X? He's like, he's a good dude, and this book is bad. Like, he can't answer it. He's like our president right now. He was asking a question. Like, I'm just going to say words.
Did you just compare LeBron James to the president of the United States?
Let's just say when they try
he's saying he has that much power. That's what he's trying to say. That's what he's trying to say.
I don't know if either have that much power. But
what can I say? He's obviously, you're just making our point for him. You're making my point for me. He's LeGreat. He's great.
So here's a poll. I'm gonna run through some names for you guys because we'll get caught up and we'll talk basketball only. No, I love basketball. I'm gonna throw some names out though from other people that may chime in and have something to say. With Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali, Serena Williams, Usain Bolt. This is from an actual poll of the consensus of everybody on the face of the earth, right? This is not saying they're number one, but these are the greatest athletes, right? They're not in a particular order. They're not in order.
Okay,
all right.
Thank you.
Tom Brady, Pele, Lionel Messi, Wayne Gretzky, and then finally Tiger Woods. In this top 10, LeBron James is not up there. The only person that I did leave off was Bo Jackson because I'm not buying that one. But LeBron James is not in the top 10 on this one. How's that possible?
Well, that source makes no sense. Then the source is no good. If LeBron James not even the top 10, you're telling me there's 10 people that's done more in sports than LeBron James, the first $1 billion.
I just named them.
You guys are crazy.
I just named them though. I just named them. Why not Muhammad Ali? Why not Serena? Why not Tom Brady?
I'm not against Muhammad Ali. But see, those
why not Pele?
People you mentioned, a lot of those other people that you mentioned, it doesn't hit. To be honest, it doesn't hit the same for most Americans.
Is America just the standard though? The Pele one is scary. I don't know Pele like that, but I know Pele is considered like the greatest ever.
I'm not saying America's the standard or nothing like that. I'm just saying you typically are more vested in what's closer to home. That's all I'm saying.
Right, but so Muhammad Ali was a civil rights activist. Like, the dude, dodged a draft because he didn't agree with it. LeBron James got his son drafted. That's the most impactful thing he did. Okay? Lionel Messi.
Whether you dodge the draft or whether you get somebody in the draft, you still participate in the draft.
I mean, but two very different values on those two drafts that are going on. You've got Lionel Messi you could say what's close to home. Soccer/football is the biggest sport in the world. That sport is closer to home to everybody than basketball. Basketball is not even the number one sport in America. I would argue that, and I'm like, when I list Steph and Kobe and Michael Jordan, I'm just saying those three I think are more impactful athletes on pop culture than LeBron James is. The people that Yell's listed from that group, like I said, Muhammad Ali, Lionel Messi. If you just want to go two names from that list, I don't know that Tom Brady is. He just was a quarterback. It's not like people were like TB12 didn't take off. The whole weird calisthenic thing that he said, you just mentally say I'm not going to get hit, and it's like he's a Jedi.
What about Tiger Woods?
No,
it was related to a golfer. I
don't know what that means. That's what I'm saying. This list is, besides Muhammad Ali, everybody on this list I think is suspect.
I think we're gonna get a lot of pushback on Pele. I think there's gonna be a lot of pushback on Pele.
Huh?
Pushback on Pele, like people
that Pele could be considered the greatest.
I would that's in the same realm that Lionel Messi. Like Messi, he is appointment television, right? The biggest impact that LeBron James has had to changing of ways is NBA free agency. And when he goes to Miami and suddenly, and even that one you could say it wasn't even him because the Boston Celtics made their super team 2 years beforehand. So it's really LeBron James just copied somebody's work and said this is mine now, and he just did it in free agency and not in trades. that's the societal impact. I'm not saying he hasn't donated a ton of money. His I Promise school is a great thing for that community. But it's not like people are trying to emulate him as a person in the same way that people are like, I'm going to be Messi. I'm going to pretend to be Messi. I'm going to pretend to be Steph. I'm actually impacting the civil rights.
How you always say, you can't see and say people are saying they pretend to be Steph and not pretend to be LeBron James. That is a wild statement, bro.
He's just dunking. How does a normal human...
That's the only move he's got, Marsh? He's got a dunk? I like it.
Aside from the one extra championship, LeBron is past Steph in every single thing else. On or off the court. He's past... even his wife loves him more than Steph's wife loves him. So aside from one more championship, LeBron has surpassed Steph in every single category. Tell me I'm wrong, America.
Steph had his own brand within the shoe line.
LeBron got his own brand. What you say? You can't say anything LeBron doesn't. You can't say anything LeBron doesn't already have. You can't say anything about Steph that LeBron doesn't have.
He's not impacting society. My conversation here isn't as a basketball player. I am telling you that LeBron James is a better basketball player. I'm not arguing against that. I'm saying the impact on society. People are not... An average human being is not emulating LeBron James in the same way that young kids are pulling up. I mean, Rick, or Yells, you got a young kid that plays basketball.
That's because they can't jump, Marsh.
Thank you. How many kids, when you walk into a gym, are pulling up a half court thinking that they're Steph Curry?
I'm with you. I get Marsh's point here. So what Marsh is saying, he's saying that he's not relatable because people can't do what he does.
Steph's hero.
The average human's 5'9". I mean, all the people.
So you're saying he's impactful by default? So you're saying it's by default? It can be any 6 foot guy.
I think I think the argument, and I think I'm going through a few different things here because my goal is to tell you that you're wrong, Rick. But you sold me early on where I started to agree. But here, your point to why LeBron is considered the greatest. You take the stuff off the court. I take that. I take that high. That moves him up high on my list. The off the court things that he's able to accomplish outside of sports. But even on the sports, when we talk about that, your point is that he holds the scoring record because nobody else could play that long, right? So by default, the longevity matters. So I think, to me, across generations, I think our current generation and maybe some of the younger ones are going to appreciate LeBron James like that. I think the older generations are looking at a Muhammad Ali, looking at a Pele, looking at some of those other people and seeing some of the other things that they actually accomplished that were actually impactful. I don't think those same people are going to say LeBron James. I think there's a cutoff. I think maybe you get over 40, 45 or something. I don't know. They're going to be like, nah, no way, LeBron James. Because there's a piece of me, for everything I love about LeBron James, watching, my argument is that he had, if he was a fiance, if he was someone trying to court a chick and win her over, he had to go get another dude to buy the ring multiple times. That's weak. So that was my argument against him always. It just was crazy. He couldn't get it done without Kyrie hitting the big shot in Cleveland, without Kyrie hitting the big shot for him against the Warriors. He couldn't get it done without AD. AD going crazy.
You guys say those things as if these other guys who win championships had no one else of All-Star caliber helping them win. Aside from Akeem Olajuwon and the Houston Rockets, who didn't have All-Star on his team yet, Drexler for 1 year, Steph had three All-Stars on his team. Jordan had Scottie Pippen. Stop acting like LeBron's the only person that played another great player. Cut the nonsense out.
Not that he played with them, that he deferred and was like, I don't want any part of this. Please help me. Help me.
I've seen LeBron take over a finals game against Golden State by himself, offensively and defensively, when the game was on the line. He won with that Cleveland team. When he came back, no one would win with that Cleveland team except for LeBron James, a guy who can play all 5 positions and carry our asses to the promised land. Only he can do what he does, and that's why he's the greatest. Because although you love Steph, you love these other guys, none of these guys can do what LeBron can do. He's the ultimate transformer on the court.
But that's that exactly how you finished on the court. The argument here isn't about him as a great basketball player. Maybe this is my read of him. But if I'm looking at any person that's played a sport, so we're not talking about an athlete as their athletic ability, but the impact that an athlete has on society as a whole. LeBron's impact on society it has nothing to do with him winning a Game 7 coming back down from 3-1. It has nothing to do with him playing those, because that's basketball fans. Like, if you ask the average human being about, like, it could be, people are going to have some knowledge of LeBron James.
Well, how's Curry impact bigger than LeBron's off the court then? I don't see the
kids are literally, when you're talking about youth athletics, that's where I'm going on the Curry argument. Youth athletics, people change it. If you just talk about society in general, like, people are sitting in their chair. I'll bet you there's a 35-year-old dude that's listening to this, could even be a 35-year-old woman, that listens to this and 15 minutes ago leaned back in their office chair and said Kobe and chucked their paper into the trash bin. That is an impact on society. People aren't doing that in the same way that they are. There are millions of people that seek out Jordan brand shoes, Jordan 1s. I mean, we were talking before about Jordan Dior's. No one's talking about the LeBron James 23s. I think, Rick has a whole background full of proof of concept of the impact that Jordan has had. And I'm just talking soccer players. LeBron James is not that Kobe. Like, Rick, your background's making my point with your Kobe's and your Jordans. LeBron's not doing that. Muhammad Ali dodging drafts and being a part of the civil rights movement. Lionel Messi and all the impact he's had, the same thing. He's a 6',
Pele across the world before the world was interconnected the way it is now.
I mean, look, I'm a young, ignorant person, so I can't sit here and talk ad nauseum about somebody like Muhammad Ali or like Pele, but we can still admire that their impact off the game that they played has been large. Like, people aren't trying to be LeBron.
Maybe we get into this on another episode. But I also think the measuring stick for what great is, like, when you talk about impact in society, I mean, it's 2025, dog. So, and nobody's out there really if they're in a major light with a lot to lose, they are not hinging it on, or they're not risking it to make some big statement either anymore. Those days are over. People would put it on the line back in the day. They're not doing it anymore. LeBron does more following and setting the tone for corporate America than he does bucking it.
I'll say this last point. Really quick, two things. One, those kids who are wishing to be Curry, they're attending LeBron James' school. That's another point.
What?
Don't let that go over your head.
What? You know nobody passed the math portion from LeBron's school? Does anybody know that? His score he had for the first 2 years, nobody, 0%, Rick.
I don't know any of that information to be factual.
It's facts.
I don't know.
It's facts.
My last point. Let me say this. Miss James and Miss Curry, my bad. I didn't mean to throw y'all in. Y'all got hit with a shot, a grazing shot. My apologies. No, I don't want no problems from the James family. I don't want no problems from the Curry family. I misspoke. It was in the heat of the moment.
Nah, yeah, Curry, Aisha deserves all of it. And you know what? If you accept his stuff, then we have to accept what you accept. But damn, you're too good for this, guy. You're too good for it. You're a handsome guy. You can shoot from half court. You're a good person. You seem to be anyway. The media loves you. She dislikes you because you're a good guy. Get rid of her ass. This is the first time all women in America would endorse. They'd be like, yeah, get rid of her so I can slide on in. Like, it's terrible. She's the pitch. Look, it's Jada Pinkett Smith and it's Aisha Curry.
Marsh, this is when you start rapping. Marsh, this is when you start changing the subject. You gotta know your cues, Marsh. You gotta know when to get in.
I got no take in this game.
Jeez, because tell me I'm wrong. You feel the same way. You feel the same way.
I feel no way about any of that. They're fine.
The show gonna end at 2 episodes deep. Damn.
So, all right. Have we settled this debate? Because I feel like we're getting in circles now.
We have not.
We haven't settled it, but I feel like we're kind of going around in circles. Rick will never believe he's wrong, even if we think that. So I'm curious, when we're talking about, like, we talked about the legacies of guys like Muhammad Ali and Pele. What would you consider, speaking specifically to basketball, what would you consider to be the greatest decade in the NBA, Rick?
I thought about it, and over much deliberation, I picked a specific pocket of years. I believe without a doubt, 93 to 03 is the greatest decade of basketball. If you look at NBA online, and they have like the greatest 75, I think they did it like in 2021 or something. They listed the top 75 players of all time. 41% of those players were played in the NBA and association between 93 and 2003. You've had from people in the league from Jordan all the way to AI and everything in between. That's your Allen, that's your Ray Allens and your even LeBron got drafted in 93. I mean in 03. So LeBron and Carmelo came in 03. So you got from Jordan all the way to LeBron and every great player in between that 93 to 03. Matter of fact, even on the video games, you remember back in the day, players had signature moves. Yale's kind of alluded to that earlier. Back in that time, you had Tim Hardaway with the UTEP two-step. You had Carmelo with his move. Yeah, everybody had their own signature moves.
What was his move? What was his move? Knees in the air and like stuff in middle school or high school?
He had the hands behind the head with the layup joint with the knees in the air. That was a legit move of his. Yeah, so Pippen had the Seth Alley hoop on the breakaway dunk. Like, everyone had people had signatures. Now today's basketball, if I just did a silhouette of a player and you didn't know I didn't show you their jersey or their face, you wouldn't know who the hell that was that you're watching. Because they all look the same, all play the same. From 1 to 4, all those positions play the same these days. But back in between 92 and 03, Larry Johnson had his own character, his own signature. It was more individualism. And it led to a lot of, and that translated outside of the game of basketball into pop culture. And so you start seeing, that's when the teams started getting popular. That's when the merchandise for a team started getting the most popular. There you had the Michael Jordan effect because he was dropping the Jordans, but everybody else was eating too. Penny Hardaway was eating. Shaq was eating. Charles Barkley had to shoot. Like that time frame, that decade to me was a magical decade. If you like Jordan and the Bulls, that was magical. If you like the Houston Rockets, that was magical. They had some really good runs, some really good teams. I think a lot of states was proud of their teams between that time period because there was a lot of good product in basketball then.
Do you subscribe to that theory, Yells, that it's 2003 to 93?
Nah, I mean, I have mine is more strategic. Like it is specifically 95 to 2006. I know that era, like I call that that was like the blended toughness era. We were just coming out of the being able to clothesline somebody, but it started getting into other. That's when we saw Shaq really just get it in. That's when we got to Kobe. Tim Duncan, let's not forget, AI. That's when we got to see my favorite team of all time other than the Rockets. The Detroit Pistons put it on the Lakers, and I love Kobe. It didn't even make sense how they got done what they were able to do with incredible defense. I don't care what you say, Rick. I don't care. That was incredible.
Nothing pretty about it at all.
What's that?
Basketball. Just ugly basketball.
Just ugly, and they won. So, but we were the thing that made that era great. We were just coming out of like the MJ era and all the old head basketball, as people called it, right? And we were integrating into the new modern day where you were starting to see better athletes, better scorers. You were starting to see a lot of different things, but there was one distinct thing that happened right then. And that's when they stopped the handshaking and the face guarding. They said we're going to remove that to open up the offense a little bit. So it was still physical enough for guys who like old school basketball, but it was still opened up enough for the modern game. And that's when you saw. Remember Antoine Walker? That's when you saw people like Antoine Walker at 6'8", 6'9", 250, looking like a marshmallow coming down the court as the 4, taking a 3. With 22 seconds left on the shot clock. That opened, I don't think he gets enough credit and a few other people, but that's when basketball really opened up. So 95 to 2006 for me.
You two said the same thing. I hope you two know this. Like 93 to 03 and 95 to 06.
Yeah.
There's 3 years.
Whatever. I'm gonna take my 2 years. Let me take my 2 years. It's different, Marsh. It's different.
You got 3 extra years at the tail end. Otherwise, y'all said this. You all listed the same players. You listed the same team.
And we're about to listen to you list the Warriors. Go ahead. It's going to be the same thing. Go ahead. We're ready for the Warriors train.
To your point, and I'm going to let Marsh get to your point, Raniel, I firmly believe Steph Curry isn't the same player if handshaking was still a thing. He's not the same player at all.
I don't disagree with that.
Anyway, go ahead, Marsh.
I don't disagree with that. I have a question before I get to mine. I'm not I'm not crapping on your decade. That time period, what age range were you guys? Is that middle school to high school?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah?
I'm probably a little bit younger. Like
A little bit younger than that, but yeah.
Like so, your childhood years.
Mm-hmm.
Your
I see where you're going. I
adolescence.
see where you're going.
I'm just saying, I think that, and you talk to old heads, like, nah, it was the 80s when it was Magic and Larry, and they were going at it, and they saved the NBA. And then if you talk to a little bit older, like, nah, it was Bill Russell and all the plumbers, and they were great. And I think that we just, as society, pick the years in which we grew up with, which is why I would say that the just prior to LeBron going to Miami, and then up until the 2016 season, so you're looking at like what 07, 08 through 16. I think I enjoyed that because you had a semblance of parity. You had really great teams. You had great players. I do believe that Kevin Durant going to Golden State was not the right thing for the game of basketball because it made the next 3 years very, very expected and predictable. Even if they lost to Toronto, that's a series they don't lose to Toronto if Kevin Durant is healthy. That was not good. That 3 years was not good for basketball. But I think the lead up to it, where you have the change of generation, where you actually are introducing the three-point shot as a viable way of offense. You have the 7 seconds or less Suns, which really ramped up the tempo. You still had the physical dominance. This was this rise of wing dominance in the NBA that we didn't have between LeBron, Paul George, right? I mean, like the forgotten Paul George was like maybe
that was a great moment going in the playoffs, right? I'm glad you brought that. That was a good moment.
The 2012. I think the first time that they met, when LeBron and LeBron ends up winning the NBA Finals over San Antonio in that first matchup, and you have this Eastern Conference Finals with the Pacers and the Heat, and it's like this last vestige of a dominant big being valuable in the NBA. Like Roy Hibbert was the number 2 guy on that team. Within 3 years, he's out of the league. He doesn't have a job anymore. And just you have this massive change. To me, I found that the most entertaining. It wasn't predictable in the same way that the '90s brought brought the Bulls. It wasn't the same predictability that you had in the early 2000s, where you had the Lakers and their dominance. You had parity in the NBA. You had the game changing physically, and then again, I think it ends once KD goes to Golden State, because it just that brought away the unpredictability that is what people are drawn to sports about.
Rick, before you go on a tangent, let me say this one thing. You're out of bounds, Marsh. I don't even know what you said after you said the name Roy Hibbert. Everything that you said just after mentioning his name should just be removed and moved. No one says Roy Hibbert's name. His mama doesn't say his name. Roy Hibbert. Roy Hibbert is the Vin Baker of that era of basketball. Stop it.
I didn't say that Roy Hibbert was good.
You said his name at all. Don't even say his name.
Because he was the guy in Indiana that you can easily, or who's Al Jefferson would be an equally usable name there. Guys,
no.
Their interiorness. They were there around because you could play inside, and the game changed to be much more perimeter based.
Roy Hibbert was there because he could put his arms up on defense. Al Jefferson can go get buckets.
Correct.
He would never lose to Roy Hibbert.
Roy Hibbert works at the Container Store right now getting stuff off high shelves, guaranteed.
I'm not saying what you said is wrong. My only point is that's what the game of basketball changed.
My biggest issue with that time frame that you're mentioning, Marsh, is the tail end. The first 5 years of what year you said start 2000 what?
2008, 2007.
2008, 2007. I'm cool. The first 5, that last 5, I really stopped watching basketball as much because it looked like the same damn product for every team. That's what I don't like about today's game. Unless you're the Golden State Warriors fan, every other team looks exactly the same. Come down court, high screen and roll, put them in action. If it don't work, pop it out, drop it down, and do it again, run it back. Like that's the
and shoot a three.
In the game in the decade, what I love about it. That's why I say all these cities and states have pride in their teams, because it was an individually loved team to have the individual product. We love the Rockets because we're gonna play inside out. In Houston, and so if you're a little boy in Houston, you want to be Olajuwon. You don't want to be Jordan.
Every team had an
That's how much
identity.
pride you had in your team and in your city. And if you're Chicago, obviously you want to be Jordan. If you live in Indiana, you want to be Reggie Miller. You don't care about dunking. You just want to shoot 3-pointers. That era had so much diversity and had that's why different characters, different form. That's why the NBA really boomed. What they did in that decade allowed the money for them to make in the decades following that you're speaking of now. It
was impactful. The same. I'm sorry, Rick. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm saying that decade took care of business and it set the culture and the standard for the NBA.
It set to the point made about why LeBron is not the greatest athlete ever, Marsh. That decade, those teams, not just in basketball, but basketball is what we're talking, defined what those cities still represent themselves as today.
Absolutely.
Detroit, Philly, they were tough. The West Coast teams was flashy. The Southern teams had to be athletic. Not a whole lot of shooting on those teams, right? The Memphises and what have you. Like, they define what those cities represented, and that's why people gravitated to them now. And to Rick's point, I don't want to be sitting here co-signing everything Rick said, but me and Rick have talked about that all the time before. Every team is the same damn team. I can't not agree with them, and none of them are as good as Steph Curry and the Steve Kerr system. So it's hard to watch that era, watching everybody dribble, high pick and roll. But you had your mid-range game, you had your post game.
It set the impact culturally. You got to remember, Iverson was drafted in 96, 97. Cornrows, baggy clothes, braids, that made a pop culture impact. It shut everything down. It changed everything. Now players, to this day, have tattoos all over their body. That was the Allen Iverson effect. That era I'm talking about
led to tattoos for everybody in America.
I'm talking about basketball players wearing on. Yeah. Before Allen Iverson had it, you very rarely see tattoo sleeves on guys.
And even outside of culture, basketball product. When you talk about the diversity, like players were valued for different things, and right now they're valued on 3 things. How long are you? Can you hit a 3? How long are you out? Can you hit a 3 and can you handle the ball? Back then, can you hit that mid-range game, protect the rim? Kevin Garnett, while he would be a great player in this era, he probably wouldn't get run. Kevin Garnett wouldn't get run. They would try and play him at center or do something weird, and he wouldn't touch the ball. He wouldn't handle the ball.
Kevin Garnett's like the second best power forward of all time.
In today, and I stand firm. He is one. He's top 3, top 4, top 2, whatever. In today's basketball, because of the high pick and roll, he would never touch the damn ball. They wouldn't kick it back out to him for a mid-range jumper. That's not happening.
If he's Evan Mobley, that's not. Listen, I like Evan Mobley.
Evan Mobley just won Defensive Player of the Year.
Evan Mobley.
He's not on trajectory to be an all-time great.
Evan Mobley has no back to the basket game, and Evan Mobley shoots threes.
He's not on trajectory to be an all-time great.
Hold on. First off, this argument that a guy is not on a trajectory because of the era in which he played, like, this is the hand he was dealt. It's the same argument that's always passed around with Draymond. If he played anywhere else but Golden State, he wouldn't be. Doesn't matter. He played at Golden State. I think that Kevin Garnett would still be a top guy in the NBA because of his athleticism, because he can shoot the ball, and because he's a fantastic defender. That doesn't matter what era he's in. You don't become the second best power forward of all time just because you happen to play in the right era. Like, that just that's not factual, in my opinion. But I think the baseline, this isn't necessarily great for argument's sake, but I think the reality is, people are going to say the best era or the best decade or the best time period of basketball is going to be one that they saw, right? It's why, like, I can't, when the era you guys were talking about, I was 0 to 10 years old. Like, I'm not paying I don't know what the hell is happening in basketball in 95 because I don't even know what's happening in my own head at 95 when I'm 18 months old. So I think that we have this propensity to say this is the era that's the greatest of all time, and it's not, and it's better than the one before it. I don't know what the one before it was, so I'm not disagreeing with you. Going back and watching those eras, I like that there's personality because you're spot on. Like, I will be biased and say that Golden State does not play the same brand of basketball that every other team does. I'm not wrong on that, but I am also biased on that because they don't do a lot of high pick and roll. It's a ton of off-ball movement. But Rick, you're right. every time you turn on NBA League Pass, unless you're watching the Denver Nuggets, the San Antonio Spurs when Wemby's healthy, the Golden State Warriors, and that's probably it.
And that's it.
Every other team, it's SGA running high pick and roll. It's Halliburton running high pick and roll. It's Kevin Durant running high pick and roll or ISO. Like, you are spot on. It is give a guy that can create, and then four guys around him that can shoot a three.
4 out.
And let's see who hits the most. I would say, actually, I would take that back. Your Rockets in today's game, they're like 40% offensive rebounding with Sengun and Steven Adams. That is a brand of basketball, right? Like, that is a very specific brand. But for the most part, you're right. Like, it's boring to watch the game. But you know what? There's somebody who's 12 years old right now who in couple of years is going to get on and say this was the best decade. I mean, they're going to mention LaMelo Ball.
Nah,
we're going to shoot from 45 feet.
Hell no.
I'm not saying he's right, but I'm telling you, there's a kid now that's going to be talking about that.
Hey, yes.
Next,
he's going to be, you got Reggie Miller and you got Allen Iverson, but we had LaMelo Ball.
Marsh,
and he was 6'7". That's what they're gonna. I know that's what's gonna happen. I'm not saying this is my take. Get the wrong meter out of here. I'm not saying this is my take. I'm saying that a kid right now is gonna come back in a decade from now and say, no, 2025 was the best, man.
It's time to change topics. It's time to change topics right now, right now. And that is the perfect segue, Marsh, because the problem is just like what y'all just did with Evan Mobley, and how dare you say someone's going to say LaMelo Ball. You might be right, because my son was shooting jumpers from the side. Legacy players, though. What's that?
I said, hold on. Before we get to that, first off, I'm not making the claim on LaMelo Ball being actually good.
Y'all put in the comments, LaMelo Ball is Marsh's favorite player. Steph Curry and LaMelo.
No, get out of here. I'm not 12 years old. I think we need to figure out who this episode is now sponsored by, and I think Rick has that information.
I think you're right.
Okay. Quick reminder, if you're new here, which you probably are, so welcome in. We've got a Say It Like You Mean It segment where we do not have any sponsors. If you want to sponsor the show, hit us up. We'd love that. So Rick is going to let us know who we're not sponsored by, and this ad read has been created by another member of the show. Rick is going to read it here for the first time right now. Rick, say it like you mean it.
Right. Rick Blaze here, and today's episode is not brought to you by...
Oh, it's a good start.
The Dallas Cowboys. Yes, the Dallas Cowboys. My absolute favorite team in the history of sports. I'm talking about the same Cowboys who pulled up that massive comeback win over the Eagles a few Sundays ago. A win so big, so dominant, and so impressive that for the first time in my life, I forgot the Houston Texans existed. And maybe that's because a cowboy rides through Texas. A Texan just stands in it. One's out here steering the hand, the other's just hoping not to get trampled. That cowboy star shines bright like destiny itself. It's true inspiration from the team that I always supported and have never waited on. Ever. Not once. So I'm asking you to join me as a Cowboys super fan, where we get to celebrate their greatness head on. They run over the DallasCowboys.com. Head on over now and head on over to DallasCowboys.com and get your gear. Jersey, hats, whatever you need to show the world that you're smarter than I you're smarter than I have been 20 years. If you use my promo code, Blaze loves the Cowboys. This is terrible. Blaze loves the Cowboys D. You get 50% off because there's nothing that makes me happier than a Cowboys discount with my name on it. I love football. I used to. I love America. And I love the Cowboys. So help me, God. Carry me to the legacy of America's team today. Go Cowboys. I need a drink.
Takes a big man to finally admit who he likes. and Rick Blaze just did it.
Wow,
All right, Rick. Thank you for that very long ad read. Very, very long ad read.
Is that how passionate that he is about the Cowboys?
Yeah, very passionate.
Y'all won, man. Y'all won. Y'all won.
I think that might be the first time.
Y'all know how to beat a brother down, man.
That might be the first time a football team sponsored a podcast. So or did not sponsor a podcast.
Yeah.
So that's lucky us. I mean, we're breaking records over here.
I think it's because Rick is he loves them so much. They heard about his love of the Cowboys that they chimed in. Thanks, Rick. Thank you for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ronyo, you were trying to segment us into something new. Where are we going?
Yeah, just segue. And I when you before that ad read, I'm a little taken back, Rick. Don't you come to the Texans tailgate or nothing after that? My God. Yeah, we were talking about Evan Mobley. We were talking about LaMelo Ball, and I think one of the problems is that legacy players they're about to be the thing of the past. We talked about LeBron. That's what this episode is really about. Obviously, we end up talking Steph Curry because you're here, Marsh, and he's a great player, right? But you got Steph, you got LeBron, KD. They call him the old guard. When this old guard is done, there's players that we're gonna like, but are they gonna have a legacy? I think that's really done. I think we're at the tail end of legacy players.
See, I would push back on that for one reason very specifically, and it's the alien in San Antonio, the team that Rick's probably going to start talking about on the next ad read. Victor Wembanyama is, now the greatest caveat of all time is if he could stay healthy, which through 3 seasons, he's not necessarily, I think he played 70 games a couple years ago, but
yeah.
I mean, this is a guy that is a freak. I mean, you want to talk about a legacy guy, I think that there's a very real chance, if not outright guarantee, that Victor Wembanyama walks out as one of the greatest basketball players of all time, just based purely off his current skill set. I mean, that's a legacy. I'll agree with you to SGA, who currently is sitting there with maybe the greatest claim to that as the best player of all time, or a legacy player, not best player of all time. I think his legacy is not that strong, but I think there's guys, Jokic, I think Ant has a shot at that, and I think Victor Wembanyama all have shots at being legacy guys.
I don't think Victor's going to stay healthy enough to have the numbers, and also to your argument about Steph, no one wants to be Wembanyama because no one's 8'12". No one can relate.
That you can't.
So
yes, but that doesn't mean they can't have a legacy. LeBron still has
right. So
not a legacy. But like saying that they are a legacy player that will be talked about in the future, like
people are talking about Big Vic. People are definitely talking in the same way that people if nothing else,
they're gonna talk about his size, his ability to do what he do at his size.
Like Yao Ming.
In the same way that we talk about Yao. That's a legacy.
Right. So legacy has tiers. Obviously, we're talking about different tier of legacy. Because that legacy is not the same legacy as a LeBron legacy. Those 2 different types of legacies.
Well, Zach, hold on. Correct me. Am I misspeaking? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Here, I'll run down some names again because we did it. Legacy players. Will there be more Tom Brady's, more LeBron James, Kobe's, Michael Jordans, Tim Duncan's, Pele's, Messi's? I think. No, and I'll just add this because what you said, you're like, hey, injuries are gonna play a pivotal part. They don't play enough. They're not tough enough. They're not competitive enough. No, they can't have a legacy because they don't put in the game and they don't overcome moments the way players in the past have. I don't think that's still there. Even if they're able to do it and have a great run in a season or 2, you're not still talking about them seasons from now.
I think Shea is a good candidate. I like Anthony Edwards a lot, especially off the court. I think a lot of legacies made off the court these days than on the court.
What legacy is that going to be, Rick? What legacy is that going to be off the court?
I mean,
what legacy is that? Send a video? Is that what the legacy we're talking about for one Anthony Edwards?
I'm talking about his ability to captivate an audience outside of basketball. The casual fan is what I'm saying. And a lot of that has to do with his shoe. How many people has a number 1 shoe not at Nike? It doesn't really happen. He has done something. He in for a sport like basketball shoe, yeah, his shoes like up there this past year. And that doesn't happen often. Using Nike, his head and shoulders above everyone else. So there's a few guys. Shea is a guy who has a potential. AE is a guy who has a potential. There's probably some guys that we don't see now that's gonna come up and so there's a few, but it's not like when you first saw some of these players, and again, I have to put in the bias now because Marsh says because of your age, well, I agree with that. But I feel like when you see some players, it don't take you long to be like, that person's a superstar. A bona fide superstar. So I think there's very few of those these days than they were maybe sometime down the line. But I'm sure there's gonna be some guys that we don't speak of now, that we don't know now, and that's gonna be a rocket ship out of here that we're not quite.
Reed Shepherd. Reed Shepherd's gonna go down as a legend. He's number one. He's number one player on our Rockets team right now, Rick. It's so sad.
He's gonna be he's a legend in his hometown for sure. Already.
KD plays second fiddle to Reed Shepherd right now through 15 games.
Too much. That's
Let him cook. Let him cook, dude. Let him cook, man. So how about this? As we wrap up here, we're talking all athletes, right? So we said, Rick said that LeBron is the greatest athlete of all time. Who's your favorite athlete of all time, Rick? Let's start with you again, since you kicked us off today. I mean, if LeBron is the quote-unquote LeGreatest, who's your favorite?
My favorite is probably Kobe Bryant. It's probably Kobe. Mamba mentality. Just kind of and again, I went through a phase where Kobe had to, kind of like a LeBron, he had to earn, you know what I mean, for me to like him. I'm not the bandwagon type, so I don't just like somebody because everybody likes somebody. I'm quite the opposite. When everyone goes right, I go left because I don't trust what the majority of people like and do. But just over the period of time and the way he approaches the game and his dedication to the sport, I say this. For someone I don't know, that I've never met in person, when he passed, I cried like that was my first cousin, like that was my big brother. And I've never done that for a person I've never known, especially someone of an athlete or celebrity status. Like, it's unfortunate, but it doesn't change my day. That messed me up. I mean, and I never met the guy a day in my life, but I cried like that was my first cousin or my big brother. So I think that's a testament to, that's my favorite player of all time. And, Kobe Bean Bryant, the man.
I'm sure Yells was probably crying too, but he had his stunner shades on. Yells, who was your favorite athlete?
I don't have tear ducts, by the way. I don't have tear ducts, so I don't cry. But I was very emotional.
He doesn't have tear ducts.
I was very emotional. This may shock you, Rick. It may shock you, Mark. Kobe's my favorite basketball player of all time. I love that guy's game. I love everything about how he operates. But there's only one person that I put above him. It's my favorite athlete of all time.
Jesus.
What's that?
Jesus?
No. But the guy that I'm going to talk about, put him on the cross. Yes, put him on the cross. He's that great. Tom Brady. I go Tom Brady because he's all the things that we talk about with Kobe that you just said and all the things that I love about Kobe Bryant. But he wasn't even supposed to be where he ended up. And that's what gives him the edge. He has that underdog element and overcoming everything. What was he drafted? I'm sure y'all know those stats. He was drafted, had to play through Drew Bledsoe and all this other crazy stuff to become Tom Brady. Because before that, people forget, he was... Who is this guy that's about to start now that Drew Bledsoe is down? That was who the hell is this dude? So he came out of nowhere, and he gets my nod just for being a complete winner, despite all the adversity and everything that he should not have been. So Tom Brady for me.
Okay. Well, so for me, my favorite athlete is somebody that I could always relate to, right? And so for me, it was, for many reasons, very obviously, Emmitt Smith.
Brian Scalabrine.
You can relate to.
No, I'm joking. I couldn't relate to him at all. I couldn't relate to Emmitt Smith at all, but he was my favorite. I mean, look, I was a young kid. I grew up as a Cowboys fan, which I later in life corrected myself and was able to get on the right track. But Emmitt Smith, I mean, he was just awesome, man. A guy like the last the last great, historic running back, there was probably, LT was probably a better running back than him. There's, I think, better running backs than Emmitt Smith in terms of like the skill set of a running back, but just the longevity, what he did. It was just, a person that as a young, very, very young person watched growing up. I just really enjoy it. Like I'm sure you probably thought I'd probably say Steph Curry. I mean, Steph's awesome. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't really get into it. But I would say it's definitely Emmitt Smith, and if it's not Emmitt Smith, it'd be Dustin Pedroia, somebody who I actually could relate to. Short baseball player who hit the ball hard as hell and played tougher than nails. I mean, the DP was just a dog. Growing up as a Red Sox fan with that team in 2000s, Dustin Pedroia was just awesome. That would be me.
Most famous athlete you guys have met personally.
Yeah, I met Michael Jordan.
Really?
Met him at the Roxy in Houston one night, just on a random Thursday. He was in the club.
Well, I can't top that one.
No, it came over. We're out. Everyone's partying, talking to chicks, drinking, and the DJ, Michael Jordan's in the house. Everyone's like, "What? Michael Jordan?" We look up to the third level, and he's just up there. You know how he's got that little walk to. He's walking with a drink. He's got that little. He looked like he was about to drop 30 on us right then. So, in street clothes.
Talk to him.
Yeah, I did. Went upstairs and we had a brief little chat. He wasn't trying to talk to me at all, but we spoke. We did speak.
Okay. I thought you were just going to say you were in the same building.
Nah, I let him know that I used to hate him. But he's great. And that might have been when he stopped wanting to have anything to say to me, but that was it. Yeah.
We had another run in with a basketball player too,
Oh.
That night.
Do you want me to tell that story?
Do it. Yep.
I thought I told it on Hard to Pay, but this could be a more public thing.
Jordan Hill played for the Rockets, and Yales is like a basketball savant. He knows all things basketball. And we're at the bar. I'm making a long story short. We're at a bar, and we're having drinks and we're enjoying a good time. And this tall guy walks over and he's like,
"Oh, you're not gonna tell this story right?"
Yales is like ordering drinks for people.
You are not gonna tell this story right.
I'm taking the short end. He's ordering drinks, and so this tall guy walks over. And he's like, "Yo, what you?" He kind of telling the tall guy, "Yo, bro, what you want too? I'm gonna get you a drink too." And so I'm like, "Yo, your boy." And he's like,
hold on, Rick, hold up. There was a Jordan Hill was right here. There was a chick right here. There was a few chicks actually. I guess Jordan Hill's whole crew was over here, and there was a chick right here, and he was talking to her. I realized that now. I walked right in between him and her with my back to him, like I backed him out of the conversation. And that's why the only reason I offered him a drink, Rick, is because I think he said something, or I felt the energy on my back. I was like, I guess I gotta order this dude a drink too. He's pretty bitter about what I've done.
And so if at some point in time it's like, yo, okay, nice to meet you. He said, "Yo, I'm Jordan." And we like, Jordan who? He said, no, say Jordan. He was like, "Who?" He was like, "Man, my name is Jordan." He was like, "What?" He was like, this is the funniest thing. He said, "Jordan, like Michael Jordan." That's the first time I've noticed an athlete refer to another athlete to let you know he's as an athlete that his name is somebody as the same as another athlete. And we was like, "Oh, Jordan." Mind you, he had a necklace on that had his basketball number on. It was number 27 on the necklace. None of that meant anything to Yales. Nothing clicked.
Even after he said his name, He's
6'10" with locks, wearing number 27 on his neck, and Yales is like, "Yeah, man, whatever, man. Here's your drink, bro.
Here's your drink.
Yeah, bro, here's your drink, man.
Get out of here. Beat it."
You made a great impression. You made a great impression on him, Yels. He clearly wanted to hang out with you.
Yeah,
you guys could have been best friends.
He left the Rockets a few seasons after that because he couldn't grab a goddamn rebound.
And that's why you guys got Steven Adams and Alperen Şengün today to do just that. I've never met a professional athlete, I don't think. No, not that I'm aware of. So
ever?
I don't have I don't know.
Not even as a kid?
I had like an autograph signed by David Ortiz, but it's not like I met the dude. Like, it's not like I was like, "What's up, Big Papi? I'm 12 years old, and it's nice to meet you, man." I was like, "Can you sign this ball?" And he said, "Yes." And she probably said, "C." And it's come on, you guys act like many professional athletes or famous people for that matter, made their way to Vermont. That doesn't quite happen. There's a couple, but not
Yeah,
quite
Marshall, you need sweet potato pies and some celebrity meats. Good Lord.
Whoa, let's be careful on celebrity meats there. Let's be very careful.
Wait, is that like a .com you guys are talking about?
That's for you after this show. All right, anything else that you guys want to touch on? So, Rick, I don't think we were able to prove him wrong, but I also don't think he was able to prove himself right, as LeBron is the greatest athlete. Any parting shots before we head it off?
Hey, y'all send all y'all Dallas Cowboys fan mail to Rick Blaze. You find him on Instagram. You find him on Blaze and Black. He told you all where you can find him. You know, you guys really love Cowboys like he does. Hit him up.
Rick, when do we find out if you won your award that you were nominated for? What day is that?
You know, I didn't even go to the ceremony.
It already happened?
It happened, yeah. So I don't know if I won or not. I didn't go to the ceremony.
When does the ceremony announce everything? Why don't you go to the ceremony?
That's a long. Here's the thing. You gotta have things laid out in proper way for me. I can't be a guest coming to your house and you acting like you're not expecting guests at your house.
I don't know what that means.
Well, you understand that, you understand the streets.
He needed the red carpet.
You understand that, you understand the streets.
At an IKEA or something? Okay. We'll find out. Maybe one day Rick will announce that he's actually won an award. Appreciate you tuning in here to Tell Me I'm Wrong. We're back next Thursday. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Apple, Spotify, YouTube. We'll see you next week.